Good evening, lads, and welcome to Slipstream League Racing. We are back for round 3, Belgian. And this time, my name is CM Funk, and I'm joined by a lovely co-host.
Oh, hello. Sorry, you cut out there on my end. My apologies. Hello, everyone.
Two of us, and we're the race, the third round of SLR. Let's quickly remind ourselves how as of right now, 2 titles for the championship win round 2 races for the most early on in the season. But Belgium, I'll find that out.
Yes, indeed. Sorry, the wee intro screen just round there. Of course, we're at Spa-Francorchamps, legendary circuit that it is. Very long, very challenging for the drivers. Even if there's not as many laps as other races, it's a long lap time. You're in the 1 minute 40s at a minimum. And if it's going to be a wet race, which I don't know whether it is or not, it'll be all more interesting. So this is going to be a real challenge for the drivers. As is any circuit, but Spa is one of those tracks that demands respect. And as you say, we'll have to wait and see who can tackle this legendary circuit. You're mentioning about the driver stands there. Naikau in a good position, 50 points clear at the top. 20 points clear of Curia, who has 30 points, and then Verch in third.
Before you get into it, sorry, we just got info. We need to turn the music down because they almost can't hear us. So before you start going on, let's just take the music a bit lower because the chat is saying that it's not really well.
I'll fix that for next time. We shouldn't have any more music anyway, so let's actually cut back to the live feed now, because qualifying is underway, and I'll let you take it back away there, my friend.
I'm struggling really hard with my internet. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Nope. Are you okay? Nope. Punk is... That's okay. Well, I'll take over while Punk is sorting out his internet gremlins, and a few people actually leaving. Futuristic has left the session. And he's retired? Futuristic has retired from the session. That's rather unusual. We'll try and find out why that's happening, but anyway... we have 19 drivers on the grid, so only missing one, technically 2 now that Futuristic has retired. And we'll just try and find who is on their main lap. Joe's on out lap.
I think I'm back. I mean, my internet is not having it easy for me, so I'll be back in a session in a couple of seconds. You just keep on going and I'll try to figure it out. No problem.
That's alright, the usual technical gremlins.
Absolutely.
But anyway, looking on the screen, it appears that Ocean Chief will be the first one to set a lap time as Futuristic rejoins. Not too sure why he retired. I'll check the team radio commentaries and we'll try and find what's happening there. Apologies, by the way, chat, because I can't see chat at the minute since I'm managing the cameras. So we'll get back to you guys as soon as we can. And apologies for the volume, we'll fix that next time out. But Ocean Chief should be the first one to set a lap time. Everyone on the softs at the minute, the only driver in the minute is John Wick, who is on the mediums. And we shall just see as they come across the line. So it looks to be Ocean Chief followed by, that looks like one of the Red Bulls next. But Ocean Chief will come across the line to set a time of a 1:44.5. Verch has invalidated. Piggy will also cross the line now with a 1:46.1. Crystals now to the top of the timesheets in the Alpine with a 1:42.9. And Lay Off My Salt coming into second place there. Thomas in third. You may notice obviously there's a couple of different names, most likely reserves. Stepping in for other drivers, because obviously we mentioned both Alpines up near the top of the Drivers' Championship, but you're thinking, hang on, that's not Cura. And you're correct, it isn't. But anyway, just all these initial times coming in. We've got the 2 McLarens of Smelto and Basco, which sound like 2 types of dipping sauce, to be quite honest with you. Wesley, who I can only imagine having a very British accent and a lovely moustache, in 5th there. Ocean Chief well down. Joel B in 8th. Popov in 10th, and Wizawil in 11th on a 1:47. Don't think that's really a representative time for him. They're all coming thick and fast through this first section. And looking at the banker times, I mean, Crystals is well clear, but how much of their real pace have they shown in these opening sorties? 2 drivers in the 1:43s, everyone else basically in the 1:44s, a couple lower than that, but again, I don't think it's representative pace. Who else have we got coming round? Verch, who invalidated on his first lap, is coming round. Nearly loses the rear there and appears to be out of his ERS as well, which is going to hurt him coming up to the line. But it's good enough for P4.
Info from the chat, Wesley is actually Dutch.
Wesley is Dutch.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Technically, everything seems to be working fine for me, so I am back, just like Ricardo is trying to get back into that Red Bull seat, and talking about the Red Bull virtual...
Nice segue. Just while you were gone, just some intro times, and Wizawil for some reason taking up Rallycross, so... Futuristic's left the session again. He's definitely having some technical gremlins. He's already retired, but will he be able to partake in the race? Because that's the second time he's disconnected from the session.
I'm even surprised that he's having technical issues, because EA is making half of the grid having technical issues every once in a while, commentators included. Yes, so we're now waiting for Gudla, Vertier, John Wick, Larson, and Gamer to round up the times on the board. We have 11 minutes left in this qualifying session, and Crystal's still standing clear on provisional pole position, the only man to go down underneath 143 so far, the Alpine driver. And we are still waiting for some times to be set on the board. In the meantime, we can see that Lavi of My Song, if that's the right pronunciation, is sitting at the provisional front row so far. So that would be an interesting front row lockup if that would be the same. Of course, we know a lot of people who have something to say about this. We're waiting for times of some big boys to get improved, waiting for our gamer, waiting for Joel Ocean Chiefs. So a couple of people who will definitely look for some improvements as we go later on in this session with 10 minutes to go.
Shall we go for a little onboard lap with... Oh, I was going to say with Verge, but he invalidated, it seems, and he pulled into the pits. I always like to try and get an onboard during quali to sort of showcase the track. Let's see. His teammate, Virgi, or however you say it, my pronunciation is not brilliant, is coming around in the red, but let's see if we can go on board with him for a little onboard lap of Spa-Francorchamps. So, heading along across the start-finish line, up to the hairpin at La Source. It's a banked hairpin, curves down to the right, so it's actually very easy to snatch a break on entry. Heading down towards Eau Rouge, which is the first part of this corner. This part is Eau Rouge. This second part is Radillon, actually. Be as brave as you can, but don't lose the rear because you'll be going into that wall and possibly into heaven after that. Heading along now the Kemmel Straight. Really good chance to get some slipstream and DRS usage out of this, as Popov is disqualified for facing the wrong way apparently. Up to Les Combes, 5, 6, and then Malmedy is this right-hander at 7. Down into Rivage, also known as Brussels. This long, it seems to go on forever, this right-hander. Again, it's downhill, so don't snatch any breaks there. Through No Name. Try not to run wide and exit. There's gravel there to deter that on this year's game. Then through Pouon at 10 and 11, up to Le Fagne, turn 12. Watch the curb on the inside, it is quite bumpy. Through 13, up to Stavelo, or Campus as some people call it. Another sharp right-hander, don't run wide on exit, it's very easy to do. Through curve Paul de Frere, and then along this long, slightly winding road out towards Blanchimont. 16, 17, keep it flat, it's very easy to do. And then up to what many would call the bus stop. It's not really the bus stop anymore, that was on the old layer, but we still call it the bus stop affectionately. Watch for the sausage curbs, be a bit more gentle on the throttle out of the final corner so you don't just spin up the rears and across the line.
The P12 for Red Bull drivers so far, not the best, not the worst time. Gurla already working on his first hot lap of the session, rounding up sector 1 as he is still without a time on the board. Him and Larson, while Futuristic is not going to be participating in this session most likely, and Pop POV, who has been disqualified after heading into the grass and then standing in the wrong direction for a bit too long, which means he's going to be starting all the way from the back. Now the Alpine driver Gurla is heading out to sector 2, looking to put the time on the board. Almost every person on the grid right now looking to either begin their hot lap or set their hot lap to improve themselves. So far, Crystal's still undefeated, but there are a couple of lads waiting there for the chance. And Gurla rounding up the sector 2, and we'll see what time it's going to be right after it as he heads into this sharp right. It's going to come next. It's going to be a long right where you can easily spin if you get a bit too deep on the throttle as he heads in there onto the straight. Sector 3 is coming up. Gurla is about to put the time on the board. Where is he going to move from that P16? The Alpine driver definitely looking to put some points into the French team scoreboard, and is he going to be able to do it as he hits the final 2 corners, avoids the sausage curbs, hits the long straight, into the finish line he goes, and Gurla sets a 3rd time of the session. Good time from the Alpine driver.
It's probably worth mentioning to people as well that whilst we all make fun of EA and Codemasters for just rehashing the same game every year, this is one of the tracks that has been updated. I was mentioning how there's gravel on the exit of some corners now. It used to be when you came through No Name, there was just slight bit of runoff and a tyre barrier on exit. Now there's gravel there to try and deter drivers from going too far afield. So sort of some drivers having to relearn this track effectively. It is the same layout, but obviously with the laser scanning and the remodeling, the car will behave differently in certain parts. So watch out for a few mistakes, a few errors here and there from some drivers.
Absolutely. As we speak, I'm watching Larson, who had a purple second sector, but he just had a mess-up on the final corner as he spun the bit, going sideways, heading into the pits. Don't know if that was on purpose to just abandon the lap, or was that a mistake. I mean, the purple second, we know this could be just a glitch from the lovely EA. But yeah, still, like you said, this thing actually changed about the game, so it's not exactly the same game as per every single year, which already makes it a game that comes out every single year, but it has a different feature, 1-0 to FIFA. It's still the same game every single season. Yes, and now I'm trying to find someone who is trying to conquer Crystal's time. Well, the Haas driver sitting at the front row provisionally right now has invalidated his lap time, so it's not going to be so much of a fight, with Gurla still sitting at P3. Versh, the Red Bull driver, is now new provisional pole sitter with 142.831, which makes him the second person today to go underneath 143 so far. The only two are the Red Bull driver and Crystals from Alpine, and now we wait for the fight being thrown, and who might be looking to challenge for the top. Looking around, a couple of lads, and I can't see anybody doing too good so far. Piggy is on an improvement after... No, that was a... Wait, he's 30% yours. No idea what happened there. Larson is in the pits. So, do you see anybody on a genuinely good hot lap that could shift something up in the board? Because I'm struggling to find anybody.
Well, I'm watching John Wick, who's just started his lap. We've also got an Aston Martin that appears to be stuck in the gravel on the exit of La Source.
And what is he doing?
It's Piggy. It is Piggy. He was stationary for a very long time. Not too sure how he didn't get disqualified there, because if you stay in the gravel too long, it will invalidate you. But just while watching the telemetry of some of the drivers, a big problem I'm noticing a lot of them are having is managing the ERS around here. Now, in theory, if you have hot lap on, you should have enough for a whole lap, and a lot of drivers saying from experience that you can actually run in hot lap like it's just a higher ERS mode, even in race settings. But I've seen quite a few times people have gone around, even just coming along through the start of Sector 3, and it'll say deployment used. So a lot of them finding it troublesome to actually manage the ERS for the entire lap. So it's one to watch for. It could catch a few people out in their desperate rush for pole.
Like you said, the ERS deployment is definitely the, maybe not number one, but surely a big topic to talk about during this game reveal and during this game early playthroughs. People are definitely, I wouldn't say complaining, but making a point that the ERS deployment is so much different than the last game, which also makes a huge difference. Like you said, the ERS deployment is tough. I'm watching John Wick right now, who is going through the last sector having 18% of ERS at minimum before the final corner. So
he's bailed out, yeah.
Into the pits,
but speaking from experience, I'm racing currently in AOR. I mean, the amount of times, even during race conditions, you're on hot lap for almost 75% of the race. As we watch Joel and one of the Mercedes having a little scuffle on the Kemmel straight there. But you're on like hot lap for 75% of the race, because you can go very high on engine braking with the latest patches, which means you're never really starved for ERS percentages on most tracks, because they will have at least one or two heavy braking zones. Maybe Monza will be a little bit different, but even then, when you consider the heavy braking zones for things like Ascari and stuff like that, you can see why the drivers just use hot lap as basically a big boost button. But yes, Spa obviously proving a bit more tricky as Whistle retires.
So it does retire, and I'm still trying to figure out when is Larson gonna put his time on the board, and that's interesting.
Just retired.
Provisional pole position so far has retired from the session, and you have to wonder why is that. I mean, 120 most likely couldn't get the lap done before the end of the session. I'm watching Larson with 1:20 to go in the session, still hasn't set the time on board, so he's gonna have only one shot to make this lap count, and it has to be a good one. He's sitting at P18 at the moment. And if he won't put a time on the board, this is where he's going to start with his V-Carb, right alongside his teammate Futuristic. And it's not a good spot to be in right off the gate. Crystal's sitting at P2 right now. He actually dethroned the Haas driver Levy of My Salt, going up into P2. I mean, after Verge took the pole provision provisionally. And now we wait who's gonna challenge them. We're of course taking an eyes on Crystals and the Haas driver Levy of My Salt. If they're in top, this surely means they might have a chance to go for something more than what they are right now, because surely they're not just satisfied with being behind Red Bull driver Verge. They definitely want to be above him, and are they going to be able to do so? We're about to find out in a moment, because this will be the final round of laps in this qualifying session here in Belgium at the track of Spa. And there's a huge improvement from Crystals in Sector 2. That is a purple
could be the
sector.
glitch. Could be the glitch as Piggy retires.
Could be the glitch, of course. But then again, this looks pretty decent.
Oh no, Lay Off My Salt invalidated. Sorry, just saw him spin out a wee bit there and he's invalidated. So that's his chance for pole gone.
Aye. So now Crystals is on the eyes of everybody. Can he pull it off against Verge, who is so far in provisional pole as the Alpine crosses the line? It was not a glitch. It is a provisional pole position for the Alpine of Crystals, who is so far standing tall with 142.613. Now can anybody else throw a challenge to him?
We've got a whole train of them coming along, sorry. We've got both McLarens coming through the second sector. We have Gurla also coming around after them, and what looks to be one of the Williams. So we're going to get times coming through all in one go here. It's Basco who is going to be next of the potential pole threateners to cross the line. And he's coming through sector 3 now.
Can he deliver?
2/10
good
up.
Improvement of sector 2. Not a purple one, so this could be tough to beat Crystals. You can gain a bit in sector 3, but surely not as much as before. Still, Basco is on the run for a very good position of himself. In the meantime, Joel put himself up into P3, pushing down Levy of My Salt even further down to P4 at the moment. And here comes the McLarens. Basco across the finish line he goes. From P7, is he going to move to the top somewhere else?
P4 and P5.
P4 for Smelto, P5 for Basco, that is.
Gurla doesn't improve, Gurla stays P8.
Yeah, it looks like Crystal's on pole unless Thomas H. No,
he's backed off. He's +9
Thomas
behind.
From Mercedes, no, he backed off. And Vertier from Red Bull, is he possibly on any kind of improvement?
No, he's already backed off.
So.
He's just making his way back.
So that's it. Crystals is on pole position for the Belgium Grand Prix for the round 3 of Tier 2, Season 15 of Slipstream League Racing. It is Crystals of Alpine, so no matter if Nico is here with us or not, Crystals picks up a pole for Alpine nonetheless, and Verge is going to start alongside him from the front row as the Red Bull driver gets P2.
That's going to be a ray of hope for the rest of the grid. Gurla down in 8th, having won the first 2 races, although from what, of course, Gurla started at the back of the grid in Australia and still won, so race pace definitely seems to be the stronger of the 2 suits for Gurla. Qualifying just hasn't nailed qualifying compared to their rivals so far this season, but never count Gurla out because they've shown us some brilliant driving skills before. But for now it's their teammate on pole, who is second in the championship, of course. So I suppose what I'm going to ask you now is like, is it too early to enact team orders, or are they going to just let them race, or?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. The best option would be to say, well, it depends what they want to do, what's more important, but knowing from my experience, there's like too many team orders so far. I mean, at the end of the day, the Drivers' Championship is, in my opinion, way more than the Constructors' title. It is a surely nice addition, but if you're racing, then 90% of drivers can probably agree that the Drivers' Championship is your goal. So team order might come in hand, but I'm not sure if it's possible, if it's needed that early on, as we're just into round 3 of this season's championship in Tier 2. So could be a thing, but if I were to bet my money, I would say that not today. That is just a bit too early for this one.
Maybe check and enlighten us on the weather, because once again we can't really see weather conditions. It's same weather as it was in quali at the minute, quite cloudy outside, which will mean cooler track temperatures, but any sign of rain according to chat?
No, the voice chat is on in the game though. We can hear Wesley on the
Yes,
stream.
I did disable. I've disabled that in the options, and for some reason it switched it back on again. My apologies, but I genuinely do not know what this game is doing.
It's okay. We just call it Team Radio, and we'll just just have some addition to the stream, I guess you can call it. So it's not a failure; it's a feature. Live with it. You're gonna have to.
There's an EA playbook. I'm sure you probably have heard as well if you play this game that you are, despite turning off the radio, you get out of the garage, and Jeff will happily tell you for the 50,000th time about the new ERS settings.
Oh yes.
Yes. So
absolutely.
thank you, Codemasters. Much appreciated. We're still waiting for players. So obviously, that would imply there's a lot of talk about strategy going on with the drivers. So I wonder if there is maybe the potential for weather changes or...
In rain we trust. Come on. Anyway,
Rain we trust.
See if we trust in this one. As the lights are going red, and they're about to go off, and we're not going to have another lap. So here we go. It's off and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. Crystal start up from leading is the Red Bull driver. Verge going to go round the outside into turn 1. Yes, he's trying to do so, but it's not going to make the move as McLarens are bumping into Haas, but they keep on going. And now Crystal's against Verge side by side, and the soft runner on Red Bull takes the lead from Crystals of Alpine as he leads after Eau Rouge, and now Crystals behind him. Joel keeps his P3 from the two McLarens who were fighting early on against Mercedes and Haas, and they're now trying to pull away, but here comes Thomas round the outside, and Crystals also fighting for the lead. Huge amount of fighting in the front as Crystals regain the lead of the race. In the same time, Thomas is trying to find the best way to pass both McLarens, but they're holding on so far, trying to defend from Thomas of Mercedes, who also has his issues. Here comes Lavi of My Salt, pushing away the Mercedes of Thomas to the outside, taking position from him. Oh, a bit of contact as well, but he makes the pass nonetheless. Up into P6 he goes, and Gurla gains a position to go up into P7.
Yes, indeed. So actually quite a clean start overall. A bit of front wing I saw coming off in turn 1, but Crystals and Verge immediately locking horns, and Crystals winning out initially. But the two of them are now actually starting to pull away already. They've already pulled out a second over Joel. And looking at the position changes, biggest winner off the line. Oh, and we've got someone swimming back. That's Ocean Chief.
Wings are flying. The cardboard is into pieces. And those were Magnetic from Mercedes and Ocean Chief from Aston Martin. Both of them sent all the way to the bottom. And I think that was mostly just the cardboard because I don't see any wing damage on both of them. It's still a huge amount of positions lost by the two guys in the back right now.
I was about to say Magnetic was the biggest winner off the line initially. He was up 5 places. He's lost those 5 now. New biggest winner is AR Gamer in the Ferrari, currently sitting P10. In that Ferrari's up 5 places. So is his teammate actually, the other Ferrari up 5 places as well. So good start for the Ferraris. Peggy up 4 places.
What's going on with Haas? Look at this. Haas, Flavio of My Salt. He just basically got off the throttle on the straight. He can't get the full throttle. He just lost, what, 5 positions? He was about P6, P7 alongside Gurla, and he's down to P10. I just looked at him on the main straight, and he was just seemingly not going all the way deep on the straight on the throttle. What happened there? Might be some kind of technical issue with the steering, but that was bizarre to say the least.
He's under attack from John Wick as well. I mean, not unheard of. I've had it before as well, where my wheels glitched out, and you just put your foot down, and the engine just says, nope, sorry, gonna give you half throttle, best I can do. Whether that's what happened to Lay Off My Salt or not, or whether he lost the rear, although he's fairly long way down the straight before he got back on full power, so you'd be surprised if he just lost the rear under acceleration, but we'll keep an eye on that in case it happens again. As Thomas gets 3-second warning already. We've only been out for 2 laps and he's already gone off the track 3 times. And speaking of going off the track, that's Piggy in the gravel.
Yeah, Piggy goes for a spin. He seemingly avoids too much damage to his front wing, but still the spin is going to cost him a bit of time. In the meantime, Thomas is making his way up into P6, dropping Gurla down at P7. That is a night fight for P7 as Gurla drops another position, this time from Wesley, who is trying to go to his right side. The Williams alongside the Alpine, and he does get through ahead of Gurla.
I'll tell you why.
Not done yet.
Sorry, I'll tell you why. Gurla's the one who's got damage. The front right end plate is missing on Gurla's car.
Ooh,
that was who we saw getting damage at the start. So, and Gurla does box.
Yeah, had to. I mean, the amount of pace loss was just crucial, so that is going to be a needed stop for Gurla. Thus puts everybody else ahead of him. And now Gamer is up into P8. We know he can deliver some pace. He definitely has some spare later on. And the gap between the top two drivers and Joel is just keeps getting bigger. 1.5 already. Another
Popov in the gravel.
Back. And who was that?
That was Popov. He got onto the sleeping policeman on the exit of 1 and has just driven straight into the wall. Gone the sleeping policeman on the exit of 1 and just spun the car around. So
yes. And we also have a fight in the top as Basco, one of the McLaren duo, is now putting a fight to Joel, taking out P3 from the Kicksauber driver. Now his teammate Smelto looking to find a way past the green and black car as well, but he can't do it quite yet as Joel defends. He almost, I mean, I'm pretty sure they did make some contact, but it was small enough to not cause some harm. Still, Smelto seems faster than Joel, now trying to find a way on the inside, backs it off for now. And Joel goes heavily off the track right there. Basco pull away. There's something wrong with Joel's pace, as he definitely is not faster than the McLarens. One of them has already passed him. Second one is just about to do so as we speak. So it just seems like a matter of time for Smelto to deliver the move on Joel, who is struggling a bit right now.
Thomas also trying to make moves, as you said. He's all over the back of Wesley at the minute. This mid-pack from P6 down to about P10 are all in keeping each other company quite handily. And it looks like Thomas may get the run. So we've got yellows in sector 3. That's a Haas. That'll be Whistlewell again. And will Thomas try and go to the inside? Tried to send the dummy, but Wesley was having none of it. And meanwhile, AR Gamer, who has gone up 6 places, is also looking to capitalize and get some more of an advantage. Larson having battle there with Virchi. Going onto the grass, actually, as he fights the Red Bull driver, the sister team. Of course, no company loyalties required in this league. It's all to play for.
Absolutely, and we have some interesting fight in the midfield. We also had a swap right about a couple of moments before that. I was about to say that Smelto overtook Joel to get P4, but now he also overtook his teammate Basco. So Smelto was up into P3 while we're having some fight in that train in the midfield. Lavi of my soul trying to make up places after those weird situations on the main straight. Ooh, bumping wheels all over the place between the Haas and Williams, and it seems like Lavi of my soul is gonna get the best of it. Gamer picks up from the opportunity to get up into P8, and the Ferrari of Poppy OV has been DNF'd. Is he DNF'ing?
He retired in the pit lane. He's just coming out of the pits now.
Oh, yeah,
that was very opportunistic from AR Gamer. A well-placed move. He's just biding his time, watching for mistakes from other drivers. Lay of my salt seemed to lose the rear a little bit there. I don't know whether he's burnt up his tires already. Tire pressures do play a big factor on this year's game. It can easily ruin your entire race, but he just doesn't seem to have as much confidence in the car as other ones around him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point out that Crystals has gained a significant advantage over Verge, despite the fact that the Red Bull driver is on a softer compound. Then Crystals on medium is doing absolutely good right now in that Alpine and is pulling away over 1 second, which means that the Red Bull driver will not have a DRS. Also, they've built a gap of over 3 seconds above the McLarens, so this might come in handy later on, as McLarens are working brilliantly so far in that duo, trying to deliver the best performance so far. Surely.
Oh no!
Right there.
Gamer in the wall.
Oh, Gamer in the wall! How did that happen?
It was coming out of the final corner. I warned you about spinning up the rears, and that seemed to be exactly what AR Gamer did. I was watching him, and he just shot off to the right. Safety car is out, actually. Full safety car is out.
Yeah,
and
I mean...
this is awkward because they've all just gone past the pits, except for Piggy and Gerla.
Yeah, these two are going to have a bit of advantage, so that is definitely going to help them come back into this race. They are P17, P18 at the moment. We'll monitorize, we'll check up on them later on to see where they're going to leave, because this surely will come in handy for them. And yeah, Gamer, who was having a wonderful race so far, going up these places, picking up those opportunities, now has lost the entire front wing and has gone down a P15. Surely he's going to just keep on decreasing his positions. So that is also some good news for some soft runners. They could try to, you know, some kind of different strategy, apply something new, because those softs will be about, what, 6-7 lap old at the end of the safety car, so they might come up with something new as we speak. So do you think medium runners will come into the pits to shift, or are they gonna stay out, because that is also an option? So
I'm the only one I'm really thinking of right now is Gerla, because Gerla had already pitted early to repair some damage, went on to the hards, and I thought they would probably stick around and try and just wear the hards down a little bit. They've actually gone back onto the scrub set of mediums that they took off. Now, that does open up the playbook for Gerla, because obviously it means now they've done 2 different compounds. They can go on to whatever, so maybe the play is now to try and make the mediums last and go to the softs, possibly? I mean,
Yeah, do you
Gurla
think
has
they
nothing to
could
lose. They're down in
just-
18th place, so
Yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Do you think they could just go to hards and just try to make it to the end? Of course, without implying that there might be a second safety car or a VSC, because that might be the case. But do you think that pitting right now for hards is an option to even go to the end?
I highly doubt it. I mean, looking at the pit strategy there was only a 1 lap difference between switching from the softs to the hards and the softs to the mediums. You just went 1 lap longer to get onto the mediums. So tire wear, because it's such a long track, such a fast track with fast flowing corners, tire wear around here is never going to be easy. So it does throw an interesting wrench in the works because it's actually right in the middle of the stint. The medium runners will probably be kicking themselves because, as we saw, the soft tires were just starting to lose pace and the mediums were coming into their own.
Yeah.
The mediums were just getting to that peak of their life where they're, got the most speed available, and it's been wasted for most of the drivers here. So
yeah, you just mentioned that you don't think Hearts would be the best choice, but I can see Thomas, Lay of My Salt, Wesley, Ocean Chief Magnetic, and John Wick, and Gamer, and Wheels Oil picking up fresh Hearts, most likely looking to finish the race on these tires. So that is surely an interesting decision to go for, while the top 5 of the race before the safety car are still staying out on the
Top
same
8
set of
actually.
tires.
Top 8 have
Yeah, I
all
meant
stayed
like
out.
before pre-safety car. Yeah.
Oh, for pre,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
top 8 of all.
it's shown.
And looking at their tire compounds, I mean, they're all meaning surprisingly. Virtus stayed out. Virtus actually stayed out on the softs.
Yeah, that is interesting. You have to wonder, is that not a mistake? Because softs are not going to be good after this pit stop. Icewind gave us information that the hards were about 10% in 6 laps. That is interesting. So I'm not the best at math, but if you would just be able to sum this up, is it even possible with 10% per 6 lap degradation? Is it possible to finish?
Well, doing
Or
some
not?
rough maths there, that means roughly
well,
what?
20.
Just under 2% a lap. So this is
Yeah.
obviously very rough maths. There's 16 to go.
They're gonna be tough.
16 times 2 is... They'd be about 54, 50...
Yeah, something
Well,
like that.
assuming the wear stays the same, they'd be about 55% by the end of the race from now. Presumably they will go through a graining phase as most tires do, so it might be a bit of a stretch at this stage to put the hards onto the end, but
Yeah, Icewind says
you are
that they
very
could
close to the
go.
window where you could make a one stop to the hards, work at this stage.
Yeah,
But as I
because
say, the
Icewind
recommended
believes
strategy
that
was
they
from
could.
softs to hards at about lap 8, possibly lap 9.
And then we
So-
got Jamie Morris in the chat, who just said that Hearts can go the whole 22 laps. That is also a possibility. Again, we're not assuming that they're gonna like blow up, but surely you're gonna lose a lot of pace at the end of the race when they're gonna get used. The question is, are you gonna gain more from this one, or are you gonna lose more from this strategy?
Well, I
Well,
mean,
we're gonna
that's-
find out in a couple of laps, of course.
That's going to be a massive asterisk, of course, next to that point from chat, because it all depends what tire pressures you're running. Of course, the higher your tire pressures, the less temperature you're going to get in them, so they will theoretically last longer at the expense of having less grip. But if drivers are running lower pressures in the hopes of getting more speed, then those hards maybe won't last as long as they think. And of course, you have to take into account other things that happen during a race. Are you going to accidentally snatch a brake and lock up a tire? Are you doing heavy battling with another driver and will be wearing out your tires a bit more? Do you get stuck behind a driver for several laps and therefore get stuck in their dirty air and burn the tires? It's never just a simple case of they're going to make it, they're not going to make it. A lot of it comes down to the driver and their management of the tires.
Absolutely. And I do have to warn you, we're gonna probably have extremely good restart, because I'm looking at Verge right now in Red Bull, P2, those softs are gonna be what, 7 old lap olds, and everybody else behind them will surely want to get some positions up, so this might seem like an overtake marathon. Of course, the Red Bull driver will surely not just give up the positions, so that means we could have some good fight ranging from P2 all the way down to P8. Then again, the hard compound users will most likely get up into pace in a couple of laps as the mediums progress to get worse and worse. So this might be a very interesting race. That early safety car really did shifted a whole race upside down, flipped it out, and this just might be one of the most interesting races when it comes to tactics this season, at least so far out of those 3 GPs in total combining this one.
The only advantage I can see for Verge at the minute is safety car has saved his soft tires a little bit. He could, in theory, take the softs a bit longer, which means he'll go onto the mediums at maybe slightly later than the recommended lap, as safety car will come in this lap, which means they'll be in better condition towards the end. And also, you do have to wonder if people have pitted now for like fresh mediums or fresh hards. Will their tires be in a good condition in the end, or will they feel the need to make another pit stop? Vert maybe has said, look, it's going to hurt me a bit now, but I'm guaranteed to only have to do one stop.
Yeah, absolutely. That is also a possibility, and I'm really interesting to see how this is going to turn out, as we're about to head into a restart, and Crystals, the race leader, is going to be starting us off after the safety car is going to come into the pits, and once he gets a green light, he's going to put his foot down to pull away and leave the rest behind him as he's still not going fully. There he goes.
Oh, well done. Left verge for dead.
Yeah, that is a good one as we pull away. And now I'm trying to see who's going to make some moves. Actually, that is a glitch. That is a glitch. Safety car is in the pits, but we keep on going with the Delta. Everybody is not overtaking each other. I was about to say, how come no one's overtaking? And I just realized that EA is being EA. We have safety car without safety car. Now, my biggest concern is, are we going to go until the end of the race like this because we have no safety car anymore to take away the safety car?
I think it's a broadcast glitch. As Wesley... Maybe that's why safety. Where's Wesley? That might be why safety car's out. Wesley's blown up at the top of Radion.
No, I mean, the safety car rules are applied. I can see the guys are not overtaking each other. But the thing is, are we going to have a restarted session, or are we just going to...
No. We are under safety car because Wesley blew up. Wesley blew up at the top of Radion. He's out.
Oh my god.
Wesley is out.
I mean, I was sure we have like a because I haven't even seen the safety car card in the left top corner just go away. So I was like, okay, we're gonna be, because this once happened. I remember this once happened in maybe 23, but I saw this kind of thing where we had a safety car with no safety car. I was like confused, what is going on? So Wesley's out of the race, and that brings out another safety car. Yeah, I can see him right now down the right behind the corner of the main straight. So yeah, we're gonna have a second safety car right out of the gate, and that flips the entire strategy from 180 to another 180 another one. So we just made a whole 360 of the strategy flip outs. And now, what do you do in this scenario when you're running 7-lap old mediums and 7-lap old softs? Well, what is the way to go?
I'd be amazed if Vert doesn't take advantage of this safety car to pits, because he's still on those old softs. For the front runners, I mean, it's basically your regular pit window now anyway. By the time safety car comes in, you might as well pit and get it over and done with. Because you're running out of safety cars. There's only so many safety cars that can be deployed. The only problem is, of course, it's going to hurt you on track position, because the ones that have already changed to the hards are going to go ahead of you, and they haven't really burnt their tires at all. They haven't used those tires. They might as well be brand new. So, as we do see some people pitting, Vert does pit, Crystalis pits, both McLarens go on, Joel goes on, Larson goes on, Thomas goes on, but he had already pitted, so Thomas is effectively net leader of the race right now, because he does not have to pit again. The top 4 will have to pit at some point.
Technically, but he also does have a 3-second time penalty, which puts his teammate Magnetic, who is right behind him, in a bit of favor, so this might just go the Mercedes way at this point as it stays like this. That is interesting. We have some fresh mediums, but we also have some fresh softs put on from Futuristic and Crystals. The race leader who came into the pit at the end of the lap just picked up fresh softs, so that is an interesting sight to behold right now. What is this going to lead into?
Another thing to take note of is you'll notice it's getting quite a bit brighter outside there. And whilst we haven't had full-on rain, there are still factors that weather can change here. The track will be getting warmer now as the sun comes out and starts heating up that tarmac. So whether that will favor the hard, that might actually favor the hard runners a bit more now, because it means they'll get their hards up to temperature, but they won't be overheating them. Looking further back, the ones who have stopped, Crystalis onto the softs. Same for Futuristic. Vert went to mediums because he'd already run the softs, so he had really no option there. Lay off my salt on the mediums. Virtue on the hards. Mediums for Ocean. Mediums for Gamer. Salts for Gurla. And mediums for Whistlewell. So a real range of tire strategies here. Surely the soft runners are looking to do another stop. I really don't think the softs could last. I mean, even if safety car stays out for another 2 laps, that's 11 laps you're looking to get the softs to do. That's a real ask.
They're like praying for another safety car, looking at the amount of safety cars we're getting per lap, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a plan for 2 stops, so
I mean,
we'll see. Damien said that McLaren barricade is about to come up. I mean, yeah,
possibly.
pretty much 2 McLarens on all the mediums against the whole world, while they're being P1 and P2. Smelto and Basco, they're gonna have to navigate this one so well as a team and as individuals as well.
I mean, you say that, but let's think about this from the overall perspective of the whole race. Of those 8 laps, how many of those have been under safety car?
Most
At least half, so they haven't been pushing that rubber, to its full. So those probably have a good bit of life in them. Couple onto that, so there's 4 medium runners who haven't really burnt away their mediums. You've then got 3 hard runners who are a slower tire, and Piggy in between. And you realise that Crystals, who was our leader, doesn't have the easiest task ahead, because if they're looking to take the softs all the way to the end, they can't afford to burn them out battling through the entire field.
Yeah,
but then, what choice do they have? They have to at least get clear of Piggy, John Wick, Magnetic, and Thomas, because those guys don't have to stop again. So Crystals is in a bit of an icky spot here, even if they're going to be one of the quicker cars on track.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's gonna be interesting to watch Crystals trying to climb up through the field. Then again, aside from the fact it's an F1 game, it's an F1 league race, and there's gonna be a lot of difficulties ahead of him waiting to, just climb through this field, as there are plenty of drivers he has to overtake, and every single overtake opportunity could be a risky one, so you have to be careful. Your eyes wide open 24/7, because you never know when somebody's gonna just make a sharp turn to the left or your right out of nowhere, so you just have to stay cautious all the time. And Crystals knows the risk, but he does want to play the game to get the prize at the end of it, so we'll see if he's gonna get one.
Shoutouts to Gerla's pit crew, by the way, who have already serviced that car 3 times, and it's only been 10 laps. Busy day for the Alpines, as I see a lot of people moving positions. What's going on here?
Probably just the leader slowing down.
It's something to do with Verge and Futuristic there.
Probably someone was braking too early or making too big of a gap, and maybe it was a mistake.
I just saw that there. Very strange. I think Verge has been done by someone here, because there weren't 2 soft runners together. Futuristic has gotten ahead of Verge under safety car somehow.
You're right.
And Crystals is... Yeah, Crystals... That's, not quite sure how that happened, but we'll see what happens, as safety cars coming in this lap, so Smelto will take control of the field.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna try to make as much positions as possible right out of the gate. We know McLaren's will try to play it nice and smart, while Joel didn't show the best amount of pace. He is still in the game, he's in the top 3 right now. Larson right behind him, the last person from the top 4 to be on all used mediums. And then we got fresh tire runners. We got Thomas and Magnetic, the Mercedes boys, on hard tires. So is John Wick of Williams on a hard compound, and Piggy on mediums. And then we got the fresh soft boys, Crystals and Futuristic. The whole top 10 could be just a huge scramble once we go green. Hopefully this time nobody will crash right out of the gate. We want to see some actual racing. Sure, tactic is cool and fun, but we want to see the real action. Give us the juice.
Any predictions from chat before we go in here?
So far, the chat was just wondering about the usage of softs versus Futuristic. See how this is going to turn out as Smelto puts his foot down.
What a getaway.
Racing again. Beautiful getaway from the McLarens as Joel is left behind. We got some opportunities for Thomas, who tries to go round the outside into turn 1 on Larson. Tries to make the move. Couldn't quite deliver just about yet, but he does get him on the straight as Thomas moves up into P4. Danik was left behind a bit. We got some bigger gaps in the top and in the midfield. We got some moves in the back, but the top and midfield are kind of split right now. I can see Gurla is having a nice battle with Gamer. I know it's a lower card right now, but look at Gurla going against Gamer. Once they go on a straight, also Verge is there as well. Gamer to the left of the...
Oh no, the Mercedes off.
Gurla. Ooh, and Mercedes is off as well.
That was Magnetic. There was contact between... Who would that have been? That would have been... I think Verge was involved in that at one point. Sorry, other stuff going on. Larson battling away. But
yeah,
poor old Magnetic. The man cannot catch a break so far this season.
Yeah, Absolutely, what a shame. And Joel picks up the 3-second time penalty. That's gonna be big. As we speak this, as we talk about this, Crystals is making his making moves as he goes up into P6 on these fresh softs. So he's using those tires, putting them to work, as he's now targeting John Wick right ahead of him to make an overtake as well. Joel was actually keeping up quite a good distance between himself and Vasco, sticking in the DRS range. Once he gets activated, he's gonna have much of a use from this one, while Thomas has dropped back significantly, 1.7 behind Joel, so he's going to create most likely a second DRS train, while trying to find who's close. I think Verge from Red Bull is trying to make some moves on Larson down the inside. No, he's going to back it up for now, being patient right there. Smart move. But the Red Bull as DRS is now enabled. We're going to go to full racing again. And Verge finally makes a move on Larson, heading up into P7 as he makes the move.
Oh no, not done yet.
Turn 1, is he? Not done yet. And Larson,
better exit though. Yeah. But Crystals is doing exactly what they need to do. Use those softs and just get up there. Because they don't have a big window. If they're taking the softs in, they don't have a big window to actually use them to their full potential. Because the softs will have a time limit on them. It's like those old arcade racing games you used to play, you know, when you're driving along and there's a clock at the top and every time you pass a checkpoint you get some more time on there. It's a bit like that.
Absolutely. And Leif myself, 3-second time penalty, a third one of this race, And I'm looking at this midfield. Look at this battle between P7, 8, 9, 10. Those guys are so close to each other. There's also Leif myself. So there's a big train of cars as the top 3 boys are trying to
Crystals to the inside.
Thomas.
Oh, thought about it. Sorry, I'm just watching Crystals as well. You're right, there's action all up and down the field, but Crystals is the one to watch here.
Yeah.
Big threat for the potential win, if they can get past. But now they're starting to get onto the trickier ones. John Wick is battling with Thomas, and of course, Thomas maybe doesn't have the same level of pace, but he's towing John Wick along. And just like there you saw, as John Wick tries to get past, it blocks Crystals from making any sort of moves. And now John Wick will get the slipstream from Thomas, which means that Crystals can't get through here either.
Yeah,
this is going to be tricky.
He is quick, he is fast, he knows it. You just have to pick the right moment, because he could have been just wiped by John Wick's mistake without even making a mistake himself. That is the risk you take by going for a better tire contact.
Oh, that's close. Oh, bit of contact there.
Thomas going at it, and Crystals says thank you very much, going alongside them, passes both of them up into P4, and Verge also making moves, going up ahead. John Wick. Wick is trying to fight back, but Verge is gonna have more grip on the inside.
Oh, they've got the side pod glitch.
Jesus, Wick is pushing him out of the way, and Larson jumps up back into P7 ahead of the Red Bull
We've got
driver.
flashbacks to my 2012 season there, the old side pod glitch where you don't touch wheels exactly, but the game registers you as doing so, you sort of drag yourselves together. But Crystals did exactly what they needed to there and took advantage of the opportunity. Bit of a naughty move, if I'm honest, from Thomas. Sort of driving in, and John Wick is pissed off with him. Look, these two are going hammer and tongs.
Oh, yeah,
and John Wick has said, look, you've decided to race dirty. I'm going to race dirty with you. Because that was a bit naughty from Thomas, and John Wick has had enough.
Yep.
John Wick is...
Yeah,
I mean, he's as mad as the real John Wick would be if you killed his dog, so...
Absolutely. Verge just picked up P7. In the meantime, as we were watching John Wick going at it after his dog revenge, and Joel picked up P2 from Basco, and now I'm watching at Red Bull of Verge trying to make a move around the outside,
Thomas!
and Mercedes is off. Thomas!
He lost the rear. I saw that coming. He lost the rear. Good save to keep it out of the wall, but yeah. Bad to worse for Thomas, and nearly getting collected by Whistlewill as well.
Ooh.
It's all gone wrong for the Mercedes.
And that opens a huge highway for Crystals to just go after the top boys as he's racing Basco, Joel, and Smelto in a couple of laps surely. But we're most likely going to stick with the midfield as we're looking at possible overtakes. Piggy, in the meantime, picks up a 3-second time penalty. And look at our gamer. He was, remember, all the way down to the bottom after having no wing whatsoever. P10 already. And if he makes a good use of his car right now, he can pick up plenty of positions in that huge train of DRS that he is a part of right now.
My question now is, what's Crystal's plan for the rest of this race? Are they going to try and take those softs to the end? Because if we think about it, Crystals has done all the hard overtaking they needed to do, and the top 3 still have to pit. So Crystals is effectively net leader. But will the softs last long enough, or will those top 3, the current top 3, be able to get their tyres up to temp and challenge later on in the race, as my GPU for some reason goes crazy, if you could hear revving back there. Always seems to happen on the third-person camera at that corner, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that is the case with this game and the previous game and the previous game, but yeah, I can't do anything about this, unfortunately. Yeah, as I'm trying to find some fight in the midfield, of course, the guys are so close to each other, but so far they're just keeping it in at one long DRS train that is beginning with John Wick and is being towed all the way down to P11 of Gurla. Well, Ocean Chief is 2 seconds behind them. Joel actually making nice use of his car right now, that's Sauber, going up into P2 before. Now he's trying to close the gap on Smelto, so Joel has some pace to spare. In the meantime, Crystal's not really catching the McLarens too fast as I expected.
But doesn't need to, of course. Doesn't need to if they are going to the end. I think the one that's the biggest surprise for me this race, not in terms of like how well they've done, but actually quite the opposite, is Gurla. I know they had damage early on, but just hasn't been able to find the pace to get back up with the front runners that their teammate has. Gurla's still in 11th at the minute, and everyone around them is ones that they're having to battle. It's not like those people have to pit as well. But Gurla has just struggled today, which is surprising considering they won the past 2 races. I don't know if this is a bogey track or something, but it's been a bit of a surprise. Gurla now battling to get that last point, getting past Larson, and seemingly finding some pace now, but again on the softs, they have to take those to the end.
Yeah, could, or then again they could just praying to God for another safety car.
Oh, getting past Gamer as well, so trying to make the most of it, and maybe, as you say, just praying for a miracle.
Ooh, I just switched to John Wick, who was defending off the Red Bull, and he went off the track to keep his position. Is he gonna keep it? He's giving it back to Verge. No, is he not? I mean, he did drop position.
He technically did.
Fight back for this one. Yeah, he technically did, so it's all good for him, but he's gonna have to back it off if he doesn't want to end up in the wall with the Red Bull driver alongside him. So he does give it up as he drops down to P6 after this maneuver. And Gurla is right on the back of Gamer now, looking focused, trying to gain some more positions, as he and Gamer are having a tough race to say the least, but they're trying to make the most of it still.
Crystal's just about within a second actually of Basco, so you were saying about not having the pace there, but they seem to just be slowly making their way up. Gap is 1.01, and they are within a second now, so within DRS range of the top 3, who I'm just double checking that they didn't pit secretly. No. Yep, those top 3 still have to pit, and I suppose the question for them now, as much as they are boxing now, they have had to box.
There they go, as you speak.
I suppose they were sort of hoping for, although Smelto's still going on, I suppose that what Smelto's now praying for is, please safety car so I get a free pit stop.
Yeah. I mean, he just had to stay out, you know, the double stack with Basco would have been a disaster, so he just kind of had to stay out, unless he was, like, volunteering for this, like, yeah, you go, I'm just gonna stay out, I'm on the pace. Well, Crystals is surely gonna try to catch him right now, as we're looking at the midfield, and look at the train going all the way from Verge P3 all the way down to Gurla, while Larson is still not out of the picture entirely yet. As we speak of Gurla, he makes a pass on Gamer around the outside as they head into the straight using the advanced DRS.
Oh, Verge getting double overtaken. Oh no, and he got a bit hot into lay off my salt there. Just survives, but oh no, John Wick!
John Wick sideways.
Oh, he got 2 wheels on the grass. That's a mistake of entirely his own doing.
Yeah, I mean, the guys behind him were so lucky because the position he was in, if he wasn't turned into a ghost, he would have picked up at least 3 guys that were going right behind him. He was sideways in the middle of the track for a moment, so thank goodness for that he was a ghost, because this could have ended way worse for the other drivers. And Futuristic doesn't have a front wing at all. Where did that came from? I mean, where did that go, to be honest?
They're only battling with his teammate. Him and Larson have been together through the whole race, so... But no safety car, that's what Smelto would have been hoping for, like, please safety car, please safety car.
Absolutely. Ocean Chief making use of current condition of Futuristic's car and making a move up into P8. And Crystal's 3 seconds behind Smelto. Lay of My Salt actually benefited a lot from this one. He just got up into P3. Again, he does have a penalty, and the Red Bull right behind him, but still. Finally pits, so it was just
had no option really.
In. Yeah, obviously he was just no way he's gonna stay out. I mean, no point. The question is, what's gonna Crystals do? Is he really gonna try to get these tires to the end? If so, can he compete against the guys on better compounds, on fresher tires? That is the question that we want to know the answer to, but we're going to get the answers in a couple of laps as we're heading into lap 17 out of 22 in total. And Smelto picks up a pair of fresh softs. Understandably, it's going to come out in P11. He's going to have a bit of work to be done. Comes out ahead of his teammate Basco, who is still right behind the Red Bull of Ver.
Tell you what, Gurla maybe starting to struggle a bit here. Lost ground there to AR Gamer. And I think these softs maybe not lasting quite as long as the Renaults, the Alpines hoped they would. Crystal seems to have a bit more of a breathing gap, but Gurla wanted to get every point they can, even though they're leading the championship. Of course, their main rival at the minute is their teammate. So Gurla will lose some points in the championship at the minute here. Got yellows in sector 1 and
John
a full
Wick.
safety car.
John Wick is out safety car. Oh, that's gonna flip everything inside out as John Wick crashes and he's out of the race. Will gets a 10-second time penalty for colliding with Thomas. So there are plenty of things going on right now in this race, and that is gonna flip absolutely everything.
I think
and
he'll dispute that.
must be fuming right now. I mean,
Well, I think number one, I think Whistle will dispute that because he's got front wing damage now, and Piggy had to let him through. So I think maybe that was Thomas maybe braking really suddenly, and if he did, that's quite a dangerous move. So I think Whistle will dispute that. Smelto, I can hear literally cocking a gun in his cockpit because he literally just pitted. Now the advantage, of course, is if everyone else pits, he's not a million miles off the rest of the pack. So he could make up a few places on track. Crystal's pits, Lay Off My Salt pits, Verge pits. Gurla does not.
ooh,
Gurla doesn't pit.
interesting. I mean, when you think about this, lap 17 entering lap 18, safety car has just begun, 22 in total. This will be a very short restart, so Gurla might be taking a risk, but he's taking it knowing damn well what can go wrong. And I'm watching Smelto, he's going to be most likely somewhere around the top 5. The question is where. He does have a delta, has to wait for the finish line.
No, he's
Reset it, there he
P8.
goes, trying to push.
Maybe P7.
P7, I actually a bit overestimated his pace, so that is even making it even worse for McLarens, who were just, you know, just in the pit stop, and now all the way down P8 with no reward after this. So yeah, the rest of the boys are heading into the pits right now. So Gurla will be leading by his teammate Crystals right behind it. Do you think this might be a part of the team strategy of Alpine to just let Crystals through and then Gurla fend off everybody else who's trying to...
I mean, in terms of this league, if there's any team strategy, it's being discussed by them in the Discord. There's no team managers or anything in this league, so... And, I mean, Gurla would surely... I mean, yes, constructors is a thing, but Gurla would sort of go by logic of saying, look, we're going to get a 1-2 anyway. Don't you want me to extend my lead in the championship? But of course, Crystals will be saying, no, I don't. I want to fight for you for the championship. So, I don't think there's any love lost between these two in terms... Not that they hate each other or anything, but... Let's just hope they keep it clean, because what a story we'd have if, with 2 laps to go, these two took each other out of the race.
I mean,
we've seen it happen before.
Plenty of times. Yeah. I mean, not too far away. I mean, McLaren's, you know, happened. A bit of a argument, maybe not taking each other out, but definitely they weren't happy with each other. So we'll see what Alpine is gonna do with this one. We'll let them cook for now. As Lay Off My Salt, he also had quite a journey in this race. He was all over the place, top, middle, bottom. He's now back up into top 3. Of course, the penalty is gonna hurt him, especially with this late safety car. It's gonna hurt every single driver with the penalty right now. So
I don't know if his one will stand. We'll have to get an onboard of what actually happened to that collision, because it just seemed a bit suspicious the way Piggy had to let him back through. I'm wondering if Thomas slammed on the brakes, Piggy went ahead, and maybe
the FIA
just...
will surely look into it and will make the decisions. We're just gonna focus on what we see on the track, and every single thing off the track will be directed by the FIA. We'll just let them do their job, and we'll just focus on what we can see, because again, anything can happen behind the closed doors, but we're not there to do it. We are here to see what's gonna happen. That's what we're gonna try to stick with, because I mean, surely anybody could get a penalty, but let's just see what it's gonna lead to, because I'm wondering, what is the plan of Gurla? Was that just a plan of trying to stay out? Did he fail to come? I have no idea, because it's so confusing. The it's a bizarre image to say the least. I mean, everybody on fresh softs that won Thomas on one mediums, and then you have Gurla, 10-lap old softs, and they keep on getting worse. What was the plan?
I mean, this is going to be the last lap the safety car can possibly be out. It always comes in with like at least 2 to go. I think at least 3 to go, because it'll be, of course, the lap counter is inclusive. So it's lap 19 is this one. So you still have 20, 21, 22. So 3 full laps to go. And I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a tall order. We've seen what difference fresh tyre compounds can make on this year's game. Tyres play such a big role in F124 compared to previous entries. So, I mean, Gurla was well down the order anyway, so even if they lose 2 positions, that's still a net gain for them. So I can see why they're just taking the risk, but I don't see them holding on for the win. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, absolutely not. The question is who's going to benefit first, because then again, Crystals could get...
Piggy again! Sorry, looking down the order there, Piggy again jumping about positions with Whistle-Will. I don't think Whistle-Will be too happy with Piggy's driving conduct from this race, but they'll talk about it later. It's anyone's game at the minute, because of course the other thing is everyone on basically a 2-lap sprint, desperation can set in. Someone who just thinks, oh, I can be a hero and make the move that gets me the win or gets me on the podium, and all they need to do is slightly misjudge that, and well, then you've got a massive pile-up.
Yeah, absolutely, and the safety car is in this lap. Gurla is going to be the one restarting for the final. There's going to be final 3 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix, lap 20, 21, and 22, all the way to the finish. It's going to be a quick sprint race to finish, to wrap up the round 3 of the season's Tier 2 championship. Gurla restarting from the safety car, Crystals right behind him. He wants that to win. He's the favorite to lose right now. Let's not count out Lay of My Salt, Verge, and then Gamer, who was all the way in this race. He was in the midfield and the bottom. He's now in the top 5, and surely his hunger is not going to be satisfied with just that. Watching at Gurla, what is he going to do? Still sneaking, trying to catch the rest of the pack sleeping. Can he do it? Still slowly out of the corner, and there he goes.
Doesn't get the getaway. You heard the rear spin up. Sorry, this was over you there. I was watching on for it.
Ooh, Gamer had an awful restart. He's dropped back heavily from everybody else.
Gurla's going to lose the position immediately. Crystals will have the run coming through Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, surely Crystals will definitely want to get the position. Let's not get mistaken, the safety car icon is just a glitch. We are actually racing. As you can see, Crystals getting ahead of Gurla on the final laps of the Belgian Grand Prix. And now what's going to happen behind them? Gurla not looking for a counter-attack at the minute, and Verge in the meantime trying to find the best possible way to overtake the Haas of Lay of My Salt. Of course, he would still be finishing P3 if he finishes right behind his opponent with a penalty, but he surely wants more than that. In the meantime, Lay of My Salt goes down the inside of Gurla, and this is going to be the scenario we're going to see often right now, because Gurla is going to just keep dropping places, as Verge now targeting Gurla, who is trying to make as much space for his teammate as possible.
Oh! Joel went on there. Joel went straight on.
Ooh, what a shame.
Joel in the wall, I think.
And he's missing a huge chunk of his front wing right there. We're gonna cost him huge, big time, and now we'll see if anybody else can pass Gurla right now. Gurla's trying to make the best use of his old tires for his teammate to fend off any opposition, but Verge is really trying to pass him. He realizes what is at stakes. He wants to get that move done. Crystals a second ahead of Lay Off My Soul. Then again, we can't count out the past driver. Possible mistakes from the rest of the grid are still an option. Yellow flags in the back of the pack.
That's magnetic.
Yep. And here comes Verge around the outside on Gurla. Can he deliver? Gurla trying to spread his elbows. Verge doesn't care. He just squeezes himself in there. Gets up into P3. Crystals pulling away, making the fastest lap. And now
an AR Gamer.
All positions.
AR Gamer sneaking past both of them.
Where he came from. Didn't even realize that the Ferrari driver is right there. Told you he's not going to be happy with just being top 5. He gets up into P3, and surely he can still make a run for it. 2 laps to go. Of course, he's on the same set of tires, but he's on the pace right now.
Oh, Verge lost it at the top of Radion.
Gurla trying to fight back, and Gurla is fighting back. Look at this. Gets DRS, gets ahead of the Verge. from Red Bull and Gurla. No, he's not gonna go for our gamer, but he does win the position back. Smelto up into P7, and now Verge trying to win the position again. Gurla again trying to squeeze him out of the track. The Red Bull driver doesn't blink, heads to the outside, gets more grip. Can he secure the position? Yes, he does. And
This
now
is what it was
Gurla's
on
next
about.
opponent is going to be Larson.
This is what I was on about. Verge sort of losing it all already on the desperation, the panic starting to sound. You've only got a certain amount of time. Your tires will be good to the end. You can just go gung-ho. So how much do you risk? And Verge very nearly lost it all there. It's a miracle he didn't actually smash out and hit the wall at the top of Radion. But he was looking for a podium, and it was after AR Gamer passed me. He thought, I've got the podium. Wait, no I haven't. There's a Ferrari there now.
Yeah, I'm watching at Lay of My Salt, who is 2.3 seconds ahead of Gamer. I'm starting to wonder, can he extend the gap above the Ferrari to secure his P2? But then again, he would need a DRS from Crystals, which he just might take, because he's right now in less than a second gap. In the meantime, Smelto picks up a position going up for P6 to overtake Larson. And yes, Lay of My Salt will have a DRS, so he still is in the game to secure his P2 from Gamer despite the penalty, which is going to be an interesting sight to behold right now. And then again, Crystals can't afford a mistake to pick up a possible 3-second time penalty that would exclude him from the fight for the win and put Gamer in the favored position. Right now, the gap between Gamer and Salt is 2.7 seconds, and it's 1 lap to go. 0.3 with a DRS is surely possible for a Haas driver. Can he deliver? We're going to find out in a lap time, as Gurla still is protecting that P5 position.
Ocean Chief making some moves late on here. He's trying to get past Larson for P7. And has the ability to outdrag the RB.
Yeah, Gurla. Oh, Gurla fighting Verge again. Harsh this time as Gurla goes into a ghost mode, but Verge is not giving anything there. Beautiful fight from Red Bull and the Alpine, and Verge picks up a position.
Oh, that's a brave move to the inside.
Way. Cheeky, can he squeeze himself in there?
How did
Surely,
they not spin each other out? They were touching wheels.
Yeah,
Supreme skill from both of them. But Gurla is... Look at this bottleneck that Gurla's causing.
Oh yeah, there's a huge traffic jam behind them. And the best part is Gamer is dropping out a 3-second gap to Lay Off My Salt. So the battle for P2 is still on. 2.9 as they're wrapping up second sector. This could be a big one, but there'll be no more DRS, and Gamer is absolutely pushing right now, trying the best he can, but it's about 3 seconds, so it's gonna go down to the wire for P2 and P3. We know Crystal's gonna win this unless he makes a huge mistake, and
Gurla's out!
Is out!
No points for Gurla!
Alpine is completely out the race, a heartbreak for Alpine, but Crystals is gonna get the best part of this team as he wins the Belgian Grand Prix, followed by Lay of My Salt, who managed to build a gap, and our Gamer doesn't close it in time. He's gonna be P3, so at the bottom stage of the podium, Verge.
Oh, at the back, who spun out the end there? Futuristic loses a place over the line.
Oh, what a finish from Futuristic Larson. And Thomas penalties will of course be applied, dropping him down to P12. And what a finish to this.
Holy moly,
race.
but...
Quite
well,
action right there.
That blows the championship wide open because Gurla had a 30-point lead over Crystals. Crystals now... Did Crystals get fastest lap or no?
I'm pretty sure he did. He was having a lot of those in the ending stage.
Well, in that case, then the gap has gone down now to 4 points in the space of one race. Because Crystals takes... No, it's 5-point gap because Lay Off My Soul got it. So 5-point gap then into the next race. Crystal's taking top spot, 25 points, and because of that gamble and a bit of sloppy battling, Gurla walks away with absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, surely. And I'm pretty sure we can all agree, I mean, that's gonna be my opinion on the table, our Gamer for D of D, I mean 15th, was all over the place, lost his front wing. Remember, he's had no front wing at part of the race, still climbed to the podium. Yes, he missed out just a bit on P2, but still P3. What a climb, what a journey.
That was a great drive. Ocean Chief did well as well, 11th to 6th, and Futuristic from 18th up to 8th. Not a bad run at all.
Yeah, still Gamer is the one on the podium from all the way to the bottom, so that's gonna be surely my pick for driver of the day. And yeah, that will be the final results of the Belgian Grand Prix. That was the round 3 of this season's Tier 2 Championship, Season 15 of SLR. Now we await the interviews from the boys from the paddock. We'll see who want to talk with us. I mean, Gurla surely will be just trying to cover up his tears, so most likely not gonna show up for the interview. I mean, what a heartbreak! You have to feel bad for the guy, doing all he can, working his, you know what, off, and still at the end of the day, he just quite doesn't get it. Just makes
Oh
one
yeah.
mistake, and his whole race has gone to the bin. Absolutely heartbroken for Gurla, surely.
Oh, sorry. I take it. Sorry, hang on. I take that back. The gap wasn't 30 points. The gap was 20 points. So,
Huh?
wait, hang on. No, sorry. That's the. Sorry, I'm mixing up the two teams here. Sorry, that's my bad. Because of course that was
No worries. No worries.
Sorry, my apologies. So that was. Yep, Gurla keeps the same points. Sorry, no, sorry. Yes, because that was Nikau. Of course, Nikau wasn't. Wait, did Nikau change names? Was that Nikau or?
I'm pretty sure it's a substitution.
If
driver.
it's
I
a
mean,
substitute, then it doesn't matter then. In that case, then,
substitution
in that
driver,
case,
I
then,
mean,
sorry, my
substitution driver.
apologies. I was getting too excited there. So in that
Yeah.
case, then, Gurla basically missing out on the chance to close up to their teammates. So the gap will still be 20 points, but they'll actually have. Yeah, that's okay. We'll figure it out later. That's all right.
Yeah,
Do we have anyone
exactly.
in the interview booth? We have one so far. We'll give him a
Yeah,
couple of minutes, obviously, to
Ocean
settle down. But
Yeah, I was going to bring Ocean Chief, and then in the meantime, maybe someone else will show up to talk about his race. So let's get the big boss right here. Hello.
Hey,
So, talk us
Hi.
through your race, because we were focusing a lot on the front, the midfield. We've seen you up, top, bottom, middle. So, how was your overall experience here at Spa?
yeah, it was enjoyable. I have lacked pace in this game, and more so than usual. But Spa, I really do like Spa, but for some reason it just doesn't click with me. I'm starting to get it a little bit. I think I just lack practice basically, and yeah, I was able to get I think P6 in quali, was it, or maybe not, maybe P11. I don't know. It was that long ago, but yeah, I felt like going by quali pace. It was like right, P10's my aim. And then there was all those safety cars. So yeah, I didn't know what to do during the safety cars, but I knew if I didn't pit on that last one, staying out on old mediums was probably a bad idea. And if anyone's trying to overtake me, obviously they have a big advantage if they pitted. And yeah, I think most people did pit. I think Gurla was one of the ones that didn't pit. And on the last lap, I was going through Pouillon. For some reason, I thought he had damage or something because he was going a wee bit slow for Gurla, who we know is pretty fast. But yeah, I got alongside him going into Pouillon, and there was the slightest of touches, and I thought it was over. I thought, this is it, I'm in the wall. But I managed to save it somehow. And yeah, I had the McLaren guys behind me on that last stint, and they obviously had fresh softs on. I had used softs, and they were pretty rapid, but I figured they would just get past me on the restart because I really suck, and I just suck at this game basically. But yeah, they weren't able to get past me in the restart, so I thought, right, I'll use some ERS to defend, you knowing that there's certain parts of the track you can't pass. And then the next problem was that the guy, like Gurla, was holding up the guys ahead on his older tires, and that caused issues because that backed me into the McLarens again. So the last lap was like skin of your teeth, just try and hold on to the position. And I didn't know what position it was until I crossed the line, looked up. I thought I'd actually did better than P6, but I will take P6. I have not scored points in a long time. And it's my first points of the season as well. So yeah, that's pretty much my race in summary.
Yeah, Gurla did stay out. He was trying to hold everybody back on, I believe, 10-lap old softs. What do you say about Canada? That is going to be a next track on the calendar next week. Do you think you might fight for points right there with the current pace you have?
No, I think I hate Canada.
Nah.
I hate it. Like, yeah, drivers tend to hate the tracks that they suck at. I've noticed that. Like, if you're really good at a track, you tend to love that track.
Understandable.
But if you suck at it, you really hate it. And I really hate Canada. I just I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's like a cockpit thing, you know, where it's just not cockpit friendly. But yeah, there's the penalties, you know, of all those fast chicanes, very easy to pick up penalties. And then obviously it's a new game, so I'm gonna have to learn. I'm literally learning each track as it comes. So I only really started Spa practice a couple of days ago. I think I'm starting to enjoy the races more, which usually helps with the motivation. So I think I might put a bit more time into it. But I think Canada, I might not put too much time into that one, or I'll end up just hating myself. Um, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to Lepson, who is sick today and was not able to race. But
Ooh.
also a throwback to last week. Do you remember the lights went green and there was a VSD straight away?
Yep.
That was my fault, and I'll tell you what happened. When the green lights came on, I had my clutch held, let go of my clutch, the car didn't go anywhere. And it turned out to be we spent the whole week trying to figure out what it was because it also happened in the pits whenever I went to pit release did not work. So I was held like for 5, 10, I don't know how long it is, in the pits extra. So that really sucked, I mean, it's one thing if you're not really fast at the game, but it's another thing if you
Yeah.
lose like 40 seconds by default, and then you cause a VSC, which really impacts on other drivers, like Lepson, who got 20 seconds from that quick VSC. But yeah, I fixed it. Basically, it was my USB pedals, I have load cell pedals, were plugged into both my wheel and via USB in my computer, so I think that was conflicting. And I've always had it set up that way, but for some reason, this game just says no, you can't. This isn't happening. So, so if anyone else has that issue, that's how you fix it. But yeah, GG to Fedivara as well. He hasn't won a game or won a race in a long time, and might have just driven himself into tier 1 there.
Possibly. Yeah, so Lars, do you have any more questions to the big man before we move on to the next guests?
No, I'm all good. I'll let you handle interviews this week.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah,
all
sorry, could you interpret what he said? I couldn't make it out there. It was a weird accent. Okay.
Get out of the comm box. Get out of the comm box before I take a wheel gun to your nostril. There you go.
Yeah, okay, so we've got
Lousy
plenty
Northern
of
Irishman.
fans in the commentaries, in the interviews. Let's bring in another fella. We've got Fedivara. Hello.
Hello.
So,
Yeah.
quite a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good one. After 2 years, I haven't been winning in SLR, so yeah, pretty happy about that.
Pretty good one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good race. Yeah, first race as a full-time driver for this season.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
what
but-
was the plan for the finale? Because we did so good on old tires, some guys behind you, some with penalties, some not. Was that like at least a bit planned, or was just a pure chaos? Was like, okay, you're just gonna put the foot on the throttle, let's go and try to win this race.
no, it was planned. Like a three. Yeah, just when the safety car came out, like girl, I didn't want to pee because I said otherwise we're gonna get blocked. His car was gonna be blocked, so we decided like to let me pass on the straight, so I got a good exit, and then the plan was to keep him on the range of my DRS, maybe to secure a 1-2 or a podium, but unluckily, it's a shame that he got pushed up and he retired from the race. So yeah, it's also thanks also for him. It was a great teamwork.
Hey, you can breathe now. We can breathe. Don't worry. Chill. It's
No,
done.
I
It's
just
over. We got
I'm a
this.
little bit sick, that's why. So
Okay. I thought you were like
so yeah, my
so
voice.
happy. Okay.
yeah.
No worries.
But
All right.
the
So,
race was great overall.
same question as for Chief Canada next time, the Maple Leaf hometown. What do you feel about this one?
Oh, well, Canada. We'll see. I don't know. Like I'm still getting, still trying to get my pace as I bought the game last week. So we'll see. Canada. It's not one of my best tracks, but I try to do my best. So yeah,
Okay,
a first
sure.
win is always great to have, and we'll see.
Yeah, congratulations on your win for this round. And again, unfortunately, you're probably not gonna get the driver of the day looking at our gamer performance, but still a great
Yeah,
win to
no
pick
problem.
up.
Yeah.
Great win to pick up for Alpine, strong points. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you and hear from you next week as we head into Canada. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
See ya. And we also have Gurla. He is streaming currently an interview section, so probably gonna just bring him out of the blue, but I have to be the one. Hey Gurla.
Hello.
Sorry for bringing you out of the cinema, but I mean, we just have to ask. What happened? What have gone wrong?
Basically, it's a bit of luck that I didn't have on the last races, but yeah, basically it's my. I guess I could have planned my overtakes better in the last phase, because I was just getting outpaced by everyone else around me,
Yeah,
and
but you were
to be honest,
fighting
everyone.
crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to keep my position, but everyone was like bullying me out of the track with new tires. And then it seemed like I was gonna get verge for P4, but then just had like a small contact with him that made me lose time, and then made me drop into all the hungry guys behind me. That then
Oh, yeah.
like one after another like kept overtaking me and pushing me out of the track. But yeah, and at the end I just lost the car on a curb, and it was race over.
Yeah, and your teammate mentioned that the whole scenario with you staying out in the final safety car was a planned thing. Were you like volunteering for the fact that, I'll just go on pit and I'll just stay out? Was that like planned from you, or were you like just kind of, forced into staying out? Because I'm wondering, were you planning on staying out on purpose and you thought this just about might work?
No, it was planned, but it wasn't like a sacrifice. Like it was a gamble for me. I wasn't necessarily trying to help Crystals win, but when I was P1 and he was P2, then we started talking about how can I help him, and that's what we did. I let him through, and then defended for myself to try to keep my position, which also helped him. And yeah, I'm happy he won. But yeah, I should have at least gotten P5, and I didn't get to it. So yeah, I'm sad about that.
Yeah, I mean, you will have your shot at the next week Grand Prix at Canada, of course, unless you don't really feel comfortable about the track. I mean, depends. So far, not many people seems to be enjoying this one.
Yeah, historically, it has never been a good track for me, so I don't have like great expectations, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you for your time. Again, shame you couldn't finish the race, but hopefully you're gonna get bounced back next week, and we'll see you and hear from you again as we head into Canada next week. So thank you for your time and goodbye.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Okay. I did saw Blink of our gamer in interview section, but I guess he doesn't want to come talk to us. Well, happens. Okay, if I'm correct, that would be everybody from an interview section that has participated in today's Grand Prix, which means we're going to be starting to wrapping things up. Belgium, Crystals with the win, Alpine growing stronger, great fight for the podium, alongside the penalties were mixed and drama with the final late safety car. So that was the wrap of the Canada Grand Prix, Canadian Grand Prix, Belgium Grand Prix. What am I on? It's too late. And next week we're gonna be heading into Canada to fight for some more points, to deliver you some more action as per usual. Thank you for staying with us. Hopefully you will tune in as well for this week's Tier 1 rivalry at Belgium, and for the next week Tier 2 rivalry at Canada next Wednesday. So thank you for your time spent here with us. Apologies for all the mistakes and issues. My name was CM Punk. My co-host today was...
Oh, you mean me? Lars.
Yep, no one else around here. So thank you, Lars, for your time spent here with us. Thank you, all the
Absolute
guys,
pleasure.
and see you next time. Bye bye.
Adios, everyone.